Briefly, I wanted to talk about the Wyckoff method and what it consists of. I feel like this will be very beneficial to not only beginning traders, but also maybe some advanced traders as well, because the Wyckoff method actually explains more in detail, in other words, about price action and trends. And I feel like if you learn about the Wyckoff method and know actually what it is, then when you look at the charts, you can actually see what he talks about. So without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So, what is the Wyckoff method theory? The Wyckoff method moves in four different phases or cycles based off of market psychology. We've talked about market psychology before. High supply, low demand equals price depreciation. High demand, low supply equals price appreciation. This is what causes the market to go up and down from supply and demand zones. Wyckoff method, four phases / cycles, is accumulation plus a spring, then markup. Distribution plus a spring, then mark down. And we'll get into what that looks like in the next slides. Okay, so here we have an example of accumulation plus the spring. Accumulation is for the buyers in the market. This is where buyers start to accumulate orders, and this is where demand is overpowering the market. Accumulation looks like consolidation or sideways movements in the market first. After this accumulation, it is followed by a drive to the upside. Okay, and the drive to the upside is what they call a markup. Markup is the phase after buyers take control completely. This is also known as price appreciation. Markup looks like a phase of upward price action. It's a clear bullish direction in the market. And below we have an example of what markup looks like. Okay, so now let's talk about distribution plus the spring. Distribution is the opposite from accumulation. This is where sellers are starting to distribute orders. This is where supply is overpowering the market. Distribution looks like consolidation or sideways movements in the market. After the consolidation, it's followed by a drive to the downside. Below we have an example of what distribution plus the spring looks like. And after the spring, we have what we call a markdown. Markdown is the phase where sellers have taken control completely and drives price down. This is called price depreciation. Markdown is the selling move and looks like a downward move in price action, and it's a clear bearish direction in the market. Below we have an example of what markdown looks like. Okay, so briefly I wanted to show an example of what accumulation, the spring, and then markup looks like, and then distribution, the spring, and then markdown looks like. So here we have an accumulation. Buyers are accumulating orders, and then we have a spring. Now the spring is no more than a liquidity grab, and we can see here that this is where the liquidity is being engineered. And then we have the markup. The markup is a bullish move in the market, as we all know. Now the distribution is where the sellers are coming in. We see that the buyers are getting exhausted right here at this point, and now the sellers are distributing price and distributing orders. And then we have the spring up, taking all the engineered liquidity that is right here in this area. And then we have the mark down. Then we have an accumulation period again, followed by a spring, then the markup. And then you can just see that it just repeats the cycle over and over and over again, eventually continuing into the original trend that it was supposed to go in, whether it be a downtrend or an uptrend. So this is a buying and selling battle. The more aggressive buyers are in the market than sellers, which is demand, equals accumulation and upward moves. The more aggressive sellers are in the market than buyers, which is supply, equals distribution and downward moves. Using this method in the right way will help you to be able to read the market, market trends, and price action better and be able to take great trades. Okay, so let's look at a brief live chart example, you can see that I am marking it up down here as far as the accumulation goes. I wanted to use NQ for this example because price action is a little bit more messier when it comes to it, so it could be kind of harder to spot. But as you can see, I marked out the accumulation first, then the spring, then the markup, then I marked out another accumulation, then a spring, then a markup, and now I am marking out the distribution and then the markdown. Okay, so we have another live chart example here. This is a more wider view, so you can see more of the price action. This is also NQ, but we have a markup, then we have a distribution period, a spring, then a markdown. Then we have another distribution period, which is followed by a spring, and then another markdown. Then we have a small accumulation period followed by a markup. Then buyers get exhausted, and then you see another distribution period followed by a spring, then a markdown. Then we have an accumulation followed by a markup again, and then following a distribution period again with a spring, then a markdown. So it just repeats in those cycles.